All right, hey, Josh here, Attica Lumber Company, out here actually in Fremont, Ohio, and check out this recently completed pole building, pole barn, post frame, however you want to call it here. But 60 by 100. Hey, and by the way, guys, do us a favor and hit the like button, leave us a comment. Love to hear your feedback. But 60 by 100, I'm going to show you here a few details in this video. But you can see right here, translucent eave panel, 3 foot on the sidewall. The purpose of that, pretty self-explanatory, but it brings in a lot of natural light. And then you can see all steel here, whether it be the sidewall steel or also the roof steel as well. So we look at the roof steel. Let's see if we can get that. It's a burgundy. And you can see right there, that's a clay. But it's a 40-year guarantee. Paint, fade, and then also a chalk. And you can see what this gentleman did here. We put a little porch out front here as I walk into the building. Now the truss system here, 2400 MSR, machine stress rated. Okay, as you can see right there, 2x6 bottom chord, and then also a 2x6 top chord truss. Now I get this question asked, actually our sister truss division, we get asked this a lot. They're saying, well, is it a 2x8 bottom chord? Is it a 2x8 top chord? And obviously people think that would make more sense, but a lot of times it's the machine stress. It's the stress rating of the lumber. So if you have a 2x6 bottom chord, that's 2400 MSR. That would be stronger than a 2x8 with a less MSR. So hopefully that makes sense there. Now this building, you can see, got drip stop. Again, drip stop comes pre-assembled to the underneath of the metal. And what that acts as a condensation barrier on the building. And it does have a 20-year warranty on it as well. So something to consider versus a traditional like vapor barrier. And as we go through this building, you can see we use a #1 grade baseboard there.
Your destination is on the left.
2x10. Okay, #2 ground contact. And then purlin spacing on this. 2x4s, again, 2 foot apart on those. And that's an SPF. It's a Western, not an Eastern. You know, the difference between a Western and an Eastern SPF is Eastern is a little bit more punky than a Western SPF. Now it's a #2 grade lumber, that SPF. Again, the baseboard right there, that's a #1 grade treated lumber species. But then if you look at the top beam, as I go up here, the double top beam header, that's a #1 species yellow pine. Not a Douglas fir. And again, the difference between a yellow pine and Douglas fir, the strength of the lumber. Douglas fir can really twist, can crack a lot. The purpose of a yellow pine board right up there, very strong, very durable. And you can see what we did there. We put our trusses 4 foot on center. We put the hurricane ties up there. You gotta be really respectful of the wind in Ohio. It can get very windy, and you gotta have the hurricane ties up there to keep the truss system, keep the roof intact during high winds. Now 3-ply laminated columns here. Now we went down 54 inches in Ohio. The depth is 48 inches. Or excuse me, the frost line is 44 inches. But what we do is we dig down 54 inches. Then what we do is we set that on a cookie. We set that on an 18-inch diameter cookie. And then what we do is we backfill it with 411 base stone. Not dirt, but 411 base stone. And then what we do for uplift to keep the post in the ground, what we do is we put 2x6s in there. So we run them east and west, and then we also run them north and south. So 2x6 treated lumber down at the bottom of that, and it keeps the post, keeps it from uplifting. But the reason for a 3-ply versus a 4-ply or concrete perma column on this, obviously it's budget related, but you can see the different strength points. And we talked about this in previous videos, but really, let me give you an idea of this. See how that's mitered in there? So you got 2x6 yellow pine, glued, laminated together. Right there's pressure point number 1. And then also you have a pressure point number 2. And then you also have a pressure point number 3 right there. And that really, it gives it more true than versus a 6x6. And on this building, a 6x6 might have been used in the 1980s, 1990s, but not so much anymore. Definitely not on the size of this building. There's been a lot of advancement in the post frame pole barn industry, and 3-ply, 4-ply, wet set brackets, or you can set on a foundation, and that's what you need to be doing on bigger size buildings. Now in smaller buildings, a 6x6 may be applicable, and even a 4x6 if you do a small building. Again, it's all budget related and so forth. That gives you an idea of this building right there. And then we've talked about house wrap. House wrap for such a nominal cost. House wrap really keeps the building tight. And for a fractional cost, house wrap is definitely something that we recommend on nearly all of our buildings. So that gives you an idea here. And let me walk around here. You can see the customer, actually he's in the construction world himself, but supplied this Simonton grid window right there. Then we use here, we use a masonite door. Masonite door, again, we don't want to use an El Cheapo door. You use an El Cheapo door and boy, you have rust. And you just don't want to have rust on your doors in 2, 3, 4 years. So we use a higher quality door right there. Therma-Tru masonite door. And then again, the customer supplied that Simonton window right there. And you can see state approved drawings on this. Those are tacked up there. So that kind of gives you an idea. You can see the white overhead door trim. The overhead door company will come in a little bit later and install these doors. You can see there's going to be 2 doors, one in the back. And then actually, let me walk back here. You can see this gentleman here, with his budget, he will put concrete in and so forth, time permitting, budget permitting. But you can see the other window that he supplied there, that Simonton, and then also that access door as well. So as we go out to the back side, you can see this overlooks beautiful setting right there. You probably can see that Sandusky River right there. So as we look in the back here, you can see this actually took our guys 5 days. We got a crew of 5, and they're experienced crew, and they have the equipment, but it took them 5 days to get this thing done. You can see 1 foot overhang on this building. And then we go a little bit over here just to show you the depth on this. But again, we've talked about, setting that, sidewall steel just a little bit above the base trim. That way you can let the water evaporate, fissure, and not congest right there on that panel. So he will need to bring this up a little bit, pour the concrete and so forth. So you can see the corners match. Sometimes, obviously color, you can obviously choose the color, but the corners are the same as the sidewall steel. So there you go, 60 by 100 post frame building that was completed in Sandusky, Ohio and Fremont. And this kind of gives you an idea of what we do. But for more projects, for more references, you can definitely check out our website, atticalumber.com. And this gentleman, I think I mentioned earlier in the video, he's actually in the construction world himself. He's going to use this as a general storage, store his equipment, and also partition a little bit of this. He's handy. Partition this and make this a quasi office as well. So a lot of functional use of a pole barn versus, let's say, a stick frame. You probably wouldn't want to stick frame this, a 60 by 100, but again, everything's relative. But a lot of bang for your buck on this, a post frame building. Get a lot of space, a lot of functional use, a lot of things you can do. So keep following the journey. Visit atticalumber.com. Attic Lumber since 1925.